ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this the Newsbeat presented to you by Ladies Like. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. Uganda's offensive communications law was passed to prevent the use of media platforms to perpetuate illegalities like sectarianism, hate speech, and any action that poses threat to the national security. However, over the past decade, several laws that affect the internet freedom have been adopted, and consequently, freedom of expression and the right to privacy have been the most affected. Musician David Mugema and his producer Joanna Muwanguzi became the latest victims of the media law this year when they were charged and remanded to Luzira prison for singing, producing, and broadcasting a song on social media that disturbed the peace of Uganda's president Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. For their song translated as Take a Rest Old Man, the duo was charged with 2 counts of offensive communication, which carry a maximum prison sentence of 1 year upon conviction. Geoffrey Bosa and his colleague, a famous movie translator, Mary Masmatovu, aka VJ Jr., were also detained on charges of cyber harassment and offensive communication in May of this year. The duo was arrested for allegedly harassing Uganda Film Council WhatsApp group members after a disagreement over who should lead the film industry in Uganda. Dr. Stella Nyanzi, also the controversial Makerere University Research Fellow, was arrested on 2 counts of cyber harassment in April. Late last month, police also charged Red Pepper directors and editors with treason for a story deemed prejudicial to national security, which appeared in the publication. Police counter-terrorism squad was also brought in to aid the investigation, and 5 company directors were detained at Narufenya police station.
Kampala projects need clean construction. If not, we lose money due to corruption. Every year, almost $300 million go unaccounted for in the public sector. This will change with a new idea in Kampala and Seoul, South Korea. A twin project. Check out the concept. A web portal to monitor public projects. The Uganda system for electronic open data records lets you pick projects and drop your comments. The one from Betty Kamya, Minister of Kampala, said the system will boost accountability and, most important, promote transparency. It was created by government and UNDP, made by KCCA, Kampala's authority, and the Anti-Corruption Coalition of Uganda, then launched by the Office of the Prime Minister. This is one of the 3 paths to a bigger solution. This is a first step towards clean construction. This is zero tolerance to public corruption, starting with infrastructure investments under KCCA and 2 local governments. By using the portal and posting comments, you can push for transparent public projects. I'm Rif HD, reporting for Newsbeat.
With foreign aid flowing in the continent, are African countries truly independent? From the US, the EU and IMF plus World Bank, seems African countries always have someone to thank. Many try to turn to trade and investment, but still fell back to aid for development. Is that the fate of the continent? Maybe not. Nana Akufo-Addo, the Ghanaian president, sent out a challenging statement at the press conference with the French president. What were his comments? For Africa to break from the Western aid, to be self-sufficient and self-made, we have to break the mindset of dependency, to back off from begging for charity. Africans can't continue to create policy based on support from first world countries. In fact, he said Africa has enough resources to be the one sending aid to other places. It may have started a storm, but he felt he had to inform. Guess what? Many youth loved his ideas. Don't believe me? Just check social media. They found his speech passionate and powerful. It was only natural that the video went viral.
Like, you know what I would want to be if I was not an MC?
Let me guess, a time traveler or our Hollywood actress?
Nope, a safari guide.
Hey, is that not dangerous? And how many women are guides?
Not many of us, but that is the issue. Women can be great at it too. Here is the story of Lucy Takona, a young Maasai woman in Kenya. She refused to quit school and marry at 14 and went for 3 days through the bush to her auntie. The tough lady Takona continued her studies and her mind was opened up at the National Museum in Nairobi. A female guide took Takona around. What a shock. Her knowledge was so profound. And Lucy knew there are 1,000 professions a woman can do. So she studied at the Koyaki Guiding School and became a safari guide. Isn't that cool?
Sure, but the work is not light. But luckily, African women are the toughest workers, right?
Yep. But she had to put up with prejudice from male colleagues who don't see how good she is. It's a male-dominated profession, so every day Takona has to make the best impression. Luckily, she is a female guide on a mission. She recently took an exam with the Kenya Safari Guide Association. Getting a guide silver badge is her wildest imagination. She would be the second Maasai woman ever to have the honor. Evelyn Mayetu was the first silver badge holder, and as she gets older, she hopes that the Maasai women after her get bolder and go to school and get more jobs. Takona has made it. So far she's doing tours, driving her car, and her secret ingredient is her self-confidence. Whenever people doubt if she can drive the Jeep, she proves them wrong when the mud gets deep.
What an inspiring story. Maybe this job could also be something for me. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beats.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.